the evening is about jazz as the metaphor of a new art and science of collaboration. The question is, what is best suited in this world, the world as we know, an uncertain world? And we might have images in our brain when we think about organizations and strategy that are linked implicitly with the metaphor of the classical orchestra with prescribed musical scores, a single conductor as a leader, and sort of top-down control and so on. Well, is this best suited, or can we imagine to look at organizations through another metaphor, which would be the jazz combo or combination of musicians, of course, based on things like improvisation in real time, peer-to-peer relationship, sharing, trust, and a lot of improvisation. It seems that even when we have the available information we need, in some cases we don't process the information according to what we should, because we don't imagine what's going to happen. So the question is, in fact, in some cases, we see the world according through our lenses. We have a way to see the world that prevents us from recognizing things we don't know. Unforeseen events are just decoded in hindsight because we don't know them. We don't know the events in advance, so we don't recognize them until they happen. So we have a repertoire of patterns in our mind that determines the way we will look at a situation and the decision we will make and the way we will act. And so this evening is about perception, and we don't pretend to tell any truth, but present a point of view. Why do we need new metaphor then? Because shifts happen. There is a one-letter difference. And shift happens, it means that in fact we might be in a sharp curve where a certain world is declining. The old economic, political, institutional, even the educational world might be declining on one side of the curve, and another world might be emerging because of some people who have the courage and the intelligence and the imagination to make this new world emerge with new business models, new form of business, new form of social innovation, and so on. We propose to look at 3 revolutions that are underway, and it is possible that we still apply the old rules that we learned in business schools, as if the world was stable, as if it was a chess game, but maybe another game is underway. Of course, there is this imperative. The imperative is to, well, create the conditions under which, in fact, those people with brilliant minds, talents, knowledge are going to collaborate in an effective way in order to create something else than collective stupidity, as we say, collective intelligence. And it means that we have to, of course, go beyond all the boundaries we know. Boundaries inside our head, but boundaries cross-silo, cross-companies, cross-sector, cross everything, so that, in fact, we see that it is true, there is a shift from a vertical world based on silo, power of status, to a world which is much more based on hubs and nodal companies, networks, which means that everything is based on distribution, sharing of information, sharing of knowledge, sharing of energy. And this changes everything in terms of way we have to behave. So it means that in terms of leadership, there is a shift from the power of status to a way to have a human-centered leadership which encourages the joy of creation among transdisciplinary teams. In a certain system, we might perform at our best. We might be excellent. We might put some more pressure and some more pressure, but at a certain point, we need to completely reinvent the rules themselves. And is it possible that at this point in time, we might just be in the situation where even if we perform at our best, even if we are excellent, we simply have reached the limit of a certain type of performance because the rules of the game have changed. We have been creating this workshop on jazz and management because we have lived with companies for the last 20 years which are functioning and dysfunctioning, have organizations which are enabling or disabling, etc. So let's point 6 points very quickly so that even for those who don't know anything in jazz, you may take advantage of the session. We will introduce now, well, the metaphor of jazz. And Jean-Louis, if you want to come.
I would like to introduce Vincent Bruynings on the piano. Vincent is in his 30s, and it's important because of the name of the band that will be told to you later on. The second musician I would like to introduce is Félix Simtain, a legendary drummer. Félix is in the first half of his 70s. It's important at that age, to make the difference between the first and second half. The third musician I'd like to introduce is Stéphane Mercier on alto saxophone. Stéphane is in his 40s. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Jean-Paul Estiévenard on trumpet. He's in his 20s. And on bass, yours truly, in the second half of his 70s. So this is why we call the band the Generation 5. Because we are a living demonstration that generation can work together and have fun. So what we're going to do is show you how within a structure we can be totally free to improvise. Okay? Thank you. You've been extremely good without a rehearsal. It's amazing. Thank you.